2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online. Or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info. Or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back to the GTR 24H EEWC round number 3 here at Sebring. 12 hours of this magical race, and look skywards. There's no sun to be found up there, and I'm being told we have got potential for rain. Let's have a look at the weather map. Oh, hello. Well, we talked about the kind of pop-up weather, and it's yeah, there's a real, and that's a nasty one too. So that could well cause a few headaches for the track. Now it hasn't hit the track yet, so there's no rain falling, etc., etc. But if that passes over, and it looked very much destined to, it could still duck south. We have said before that Sebring does seem to have this amazing weather vacuum that prevents it from having any kind of wet weather going on. As we're riding on board with Juan Amaya in the 264 Satellite Racing Car. But that kind of level of intensity, you aren't doing that on slicks. There's no chance. You have to switch to wets, and that is going to completely juggle everyone's tyre strategies. So we will see, but we've been The rain has flirted with us many, many times, so let's not get too excited until we actually see it fall. That's Manuel Biancalida, who has caught the back of the 585 car. That's Alexander Sesha in the Aztec Simsports car. So the Audi doesn't, as we said before, the Audi does not have to jump out of the way just because they are in different categories. Oh, Manuel's determined to do it quickly, though. Oh, wow. There's not a big enough performance difference in the GTE to GT3s to make a move like that. Manuel is very quick and has been really, really pressing on, but his last lap was slower than the Audis, so that could be because he's been behind the Audi for a while. But the GTE doesn't have a huge performance advantage over the GT3s. It's a little bit, but not huge. So he's going to have to really make the move. And strictly speaking, this is for position. It might not be for class position, but it is race position. And, oh, he's overdone it. No, Manuel Biancalida was determined to try and make the move done, and sadly has overcooked that. And look how much time that's cost him. That's a good second at least. That's the 54 car now sits behind the 585. That's the Azatec squad you can see on screen. Niels Hugavinen, then Marcek Kaspersky, who started the car, Eliseo Neto, Alexander Sasha, who currently drives it, and Daniel Krasnai is how you say that, I think. That's how I'm saying it. Do we just have a message? We've got someone ready to have a chat. Ooh. Speaking of Mr. Kaspersky, he's the starting driver for that particular car. There's the 264 squad you can see on screen. Now I'm having a fly bother on me. We saw briefly on screen, yes, there's the Sattler Racing squad. Juan Amaya, Tom Capsuda, who started the car, as Sebastian Lukasik, Jan Granqvist, and Adam State, who will pilot the 264. Now, can we get Mr. Kaspersky on the blower? Let's have a look. Where is he? Let's see if we can find Mr. Kaspersky. It would be great to have a chat with him. Bear with me. Where will he be? Where will he be? He will be somewhere on Teamspeak. Yes, he will be. Let me find him, because it would be great to have an idea on how they are doing. The 585 team, he's not in there, so I can't grab hold of him in TeamSpeak. Production telling me rain is coming. Oh, are we actually having some rainfall? Well. Rain has a habit of being very, very moist, Mr. Moncombe, but it does depend on how much of it falls. Let's not be too sarcastic, Mr. Buxton. Pit stop going on for number 15, the Dueces Motorsport LMP2 car. Robert Pound has brought that one in. So, will he hand that over, or is there just a scheduled stop? We will see. So we continue to look at the 585 Alexander Sesha, now behind the GTE car of Manuel Biancalida. So the Porsche has managed to regroup and get past the Audi. It could be that Sesha felt no need to keep the Porsche behind. Again, that's not for class position. It won't serve them if it's just going to hold both of them up to stay there. Who's caused a yellow flag? No idea, because that disappeared too quickly for me to find out who it was. So I suspect Alexander Sesha just lets Biancalida go. Manuel is, like I say, probably is the quicker of the two drivers. Oh, that's someone coming into the pit. Several people have come in by the look of it. I think that was a Gadget Huset car of Michael Ciccolini that's just come in. Well, that won't be for tyres. That would be awkward, actually, because if we do have a sudden deluge of rain and you've just pitted, you're going to have to come in again to deal with tyres. Oh, Alexander Sesha getting the apexes a little bit wrong there. Oh, the rain's gone. See, it's flirting with us. I told you. The rain is flirting with us. Am I here or am I not? It's disappeared. Goodness me. Never mind. So, let's have a look at who is doing what. Oh! Is my timing screen correct? We've got a very close battle for third in the DPIs. Car 11 and 17 look like they're very, very close together. That's Josh Purwein and Denis Ishenko for Sem 9 Axel and Unison, respectively. We'll hope to get the cameras pointing at them. Ooh, that's close. Nicely done, Satellite Racing. That's James Tsuba, who now leads the class with... and there is Denis Ishenko. That's who he's chasing. With a Sem 9 Axle car mixed in for good measure. So both of the Sem 9 cars are close together. So that's Mohamed Alif that is now second in class. That's who is at the front of that particular train. So we've got Josh Purwein right ahead of Denis Ishenko. So that's a battle for third in the DPI class. And that's only a couple of seconds apart, although Ishenko was a bit closer than that. If the time screen is to be believed, that's... no, that's what's confusing. I was just thinking, hang on, that's not 2 seconds. That's because the inverted commas, wrong Sem 9 car is right in front of him. That's the NP2 car that's right in his nose. So they were very close together, but Purwein managed to get ahead of the sister car of Mohamed Alif. You could play a bit of a tactical game there and try and keep the DPI car behind. There's quite a difference in lap time between those two categories, about 3 seconds. So it would be quite an ask for the Sem 9 Axle MP2 car to keep the Unison Racing DPI car at bay as we look at Juan Amaya and the other Satellite Racing car. Another message come in. What's the message that's come in? That's about rain again. Not a lot of it is basically what that message said. Rain slightly incoming, says Race Control. Yeah, I can't really get too excited about slightly incoming, I'm afraid. It's flirting again, I think is fair to say. There's Wanamaya, still on the back of... Who's that he's chasing? That is... that's a battle for position. That is the ID Simsport cars, Michael Pedersen. So we still have battles going on. That is a battle for fifth then in GTE. This is essentially who Manuel Biancalida is chasing. So he will be quite happy if these two cars really, tangle up or snarl each other up. Because Manuel's got a lap at least to try and close in. Actually, Manuel's just looking at the tracker. Manuel's just ahead of them. I think he's too far ahead to be able to see it unless they're about to go onto the Ormond Straight. You can't quite see Manuel Biancalida. There he is. He's just gone through Sunset Bend. So that's how much time Manuel Biancalida has to gain back to get into battles with his own class. That's how badly it's gone. Or that's how much time their technical issues cost them earlier on, I should say. But this is exactly what Manuel Biancalida would like, is for his main competitors, i.e. these two, to be tangling up and slowing each other down. We'll see. They may play the long game. Easier said than done. We've seen plenty of jostling for positions going on already in this race between classmates. So we'll see if they choose to continue to do so. Juan Amaya has been... Again, I was about to say he's been the quicker car, but he has been, not by huge amounts. Only a couple of tenths last time around. Ricky Jimenez was just a pretty decent lap, 159.6 in the fourth place MCM Motorsport number 27. But he's at least a lap behind the BAS car, so a lot of time to gain fourth to third. But either way, you never give up. At a moment's notice, someone could have a technical issue that could drop them completely out of the race. You never ever give up in endurance racing. You don't really give up in sprint racing either, but especially not in endurance racing. Having a look at the time gaps elsewhere. The Dueces. So I mentioned earlier that the Gadget Husick car came in. Yes, they had. Steven Salsgaard is back in the car. So that's what that pit stop was for. That puts them about 10 seconds ahead of the B32 car, or B32 Racing McLaren, I should say, the number 32 car. Still lights are blazing, so we're not seeing... still no sign of this rain. Oh, that's the tail getting twitchy on the 264 car. Getting rather lively. It's a stylish way. It's not the fastest way of coming around the corner. And still getting on with the job. Let's look at how it's getting darker out there, but I think that's more weather related than time of day. Into Sunset Bend once again. And one not yet in a position to be able to attack. Let's have a look at the weather report again. Well, there's that band of rain that I was getting a little excited about. It literally just circumvents the track. I told you that Sebring seems to have this magical weather vacuum. It just seems to completely dissipate when it gets to Sebring. But as we say, rain showers do appear and disappear. That's not that uncommon in Florida. Ooh, and Amaya getting a little bit bouncy there, coming through the curbs, coming out of turn 2. Still pressing on though, not losing a huge amount of time over his prey. I wonder if we might see if we can have a chat with somebody again. Who might we be able to grab? Well, number 94 car, has that changed hands again? No, still Damien Scovron in that one. However, I can see on our... Well, I was just about to say, I can see on our cameras that Tom Holmendinger is ready to go, so he might be ready to take the car over. If so, we'll grab Damien when he comes out of the car to grab a word or two. Well, I thought that was one Amaya then in trouble, but no, he's just surrounded by lots of cars. At the moment, yeah, that's the closest battle as far as on-track position is concerned. Mohammed Alif in the Sen 9 axle number 21. He's now 6-ish seconds ahead of Damien Scovron in the number 94, but their lap times are nearly semi-identical, so that gap isn't changing. Denis Shenko was on the back, as we saw, of the Sen 9 axle DPI. That gap's around about 3 seconds now. What's going on here? Wananaya. Oh, there was someone right by you at that particular moment. Was that Jesper Pedersen? Yep, I do believe it was. I just saw what looked like Jesper Pedersen coming in. Yellow flag. Who was that? Don't know. Didn't see because it disappeared too quickly. Here's a Shenko. Trying to regain the time we lost earlier on the 11 car to restart that battle for third place in the DPIs. And you just saw going out of the shot Josh Purwein, who is the SEM 9 axle pilot at the moment. I think it's fair to say that the wet weather we thought was coming has decided it doesn't want to play ball with us, so the track will remain dry for now. I'm sure it will be a big relief to the drivers. I've just realised something, that Henri Sinik in the 64 car is very close. Oh, Shenko! Not ideal at all, getting that all wrong. What did he do? I think he just locked up, so that's cost him a lot of time. I was just about to say that second, third and fourth in DPRs are getting very, very close. Second and third are. Shenko, with that mistake, has just cost himself over 10 seconds with that particular issue. Yeah, he won't see his prey now, but Josh Purwein is potentially staring at the back of Henri Sinik, as the 64 car has been through the pits, and Josh Purwein was 1:45.8, so set a cracking lap last time around. Replay. Let's have a look at. I'm assuming this is Denis Shenko. Yes. What did he do? Well, he's dancing around Manuel Bianca-Lila. Oh, a tap between the two. Well, that'll do it. Tried to stay on the. Utilised the runoff area perfectly well. Oh dear, oh dear. That was Manuel Bianca-Lila in the Mustang Pescara car. Just having a bit of an impact. And there it is from Well, that's Manuel then having to regain that spot from Alexander Sesha. So now they're on track arguing for that same bit of track again. Side by side, coming into Tower. And there we go. So Manuel back up ahead of the Audi. Is he going to stay there or is he going to be challenged? We will see. Well, I mean, in fairness to Alexander Sesha, and like I said before, that is strictly speaking a race position. That was a hairpin turn, beg your pardon, not Tower. Alexander Sesha is perfectly allowed to challenge for that spot. It is an on-track position. It's not a class position, so it may not be worth his while to do it, but he's strictly speaking allowed to do it. That is an on-track position he is challenging for. Azhenko then has got some work to do to close back in on his classmates up front. Like I said, that's about 10 seconds or so that one mistake cost him. 11 seconds looking at the lap time changes. But Josh Purwein is pressing on. Fastest DPI car again. 1.5 seconds separates himself. 1.7, 1.8 seconds separates second to third. And there is Josh Purwein. And there, you just saw go out of the shot, is Henri Sinik. So lots of potential changing going on here. I'm looking at the LMP2s. There's been a change around there due to pit stops. Mohammed Alif in the 2179 Axel car now leads the way. Nicely done. That's the 79 Axel number 11 team you're looking at there. So Nakib Aslan, who had that one earlier. Nabil Aslan, I thought it was the same name twice there, not meaning to be rude, I just read that as the same name twice. So Nakib and Nabil Aslan, along with Alistair Young, have the number 11 car, with Nakib Aslan in the car at the moment, as we look at Josh Purwein, who is a recent addition to the number 11 car. Message. What was the message? Car 54 has a 30-second stop-go penalty for hitting car number 17. Well, that was rather coming, wasn't it? That was Manuel Biancalida tripping up over the 17 car. So, yeah, that was Denis Shevchenko's spin that cost him all that time in that potential battle for second. A shame, but that's endurance racing. It's not an insurmountable amount, though. So we have another 6.5 hours as we are fast approaching the halfway stage in this race. Aston really hasn't relented a great deal whatsoever. Great stuff to see. Great stuff for us to be able to shout about as well. We look at Josh Purwein continuing to try and chase off after Henri Sinik. Now Henri Sinik back up into his rhythm. Oh, and there is a Aston Martin in the way. Which Aston is that? That I believe is Ricky Jimenez. Yep, that's Ricky Jimenez in the 27 car. They have danced around rather nicely. So that's going to cost Josh Purwein a little bit of time. Look at that. Look, great shot there of this kind of sunset effect as they're heading down towards Tower, towards Hairpin rather. You just get this face full of sunset, and that is actually quite blinding, especially in VR. I can promise you that in VR terms, that gets really, really bright. It probably gets fairly uncomfortable in flat screen as well, but in VR particularly, that can get very, very bright. Wow, fastest DPI 145.2 is Henri Sinik. He's really getting out there and getting on with it now. Trying to rebuild that gap to Josh Purwein in the 11.79 Axel squad. And we are looking at the moment that tail getting lively again on the DPI car. Insane amount of horsepower in these cars. They are really, really tricky to keep hold of. Now, I myself do tend to prefer GT style cars from a sim racing perspective. They all look amazing. I love how they all look and sound and what have you. But we don't like the Ford GT, which we don't have any of here. The thing of Ford GT sounds like an asthmatic horse. But other than that, they all sound absolutely amazing. But the DPI really does have that beautiful growl. Really, really do enjoy the sound of that particular car. And again, a 45.6 for Henri Sinik. He's pressing on. Oh, that's the Unison 717 car that has found itself in the midst of the DPI front runners. And there we go. So Josh being stuck behind the BMW. That again is just part of That's part of in multi-class racing. And, the traffic taketh and traffic taketh away. I see the number 74 GTE car has changed hands. The Dueces Motorsport car, Vojta Polesny, has jumped out of that one and is now in the hands of Tony Jansen. But it might be an idea to try and grab a word with Vojta Polesny and see if we can do that at some stage. I will chuck Vojta Polesny a message to see if he is willing to have a chat. Vojta, where are you? Let's see. Team 74, which is the Dueces team. It is great trying to scroll through the list and keep an eye on the rating, and I can't find him. There he is. Let me just chuck him a quick message. Well, if I can spell properly. Now, Vojta Polesny, I've actually, one of the few drivers I've actually commentated on in other areas as well, so I can absolutely promise you I know how quick he is. I've seen it many, many times. Obviously, Josh Purwein nicely navigate around the CKR and DIS Sim Racing Lab cars. Very nicely done. Whoops, someone kicking up a bit of dust there. It was probably only Sinik. That's carrying on nonetheless. I'll report back if Vojta Polesny comes back to me from the Czech Republic. That's the Gadget Hooting car we've just seen go out of shot. Who's Steven Sarsgaard has got them. Oh no, trouble for Manuel Biancalila. That is in the garage. No. Now, there wasn't a very big hit, so that, I'm assuming, is a technical trouble then for Biancalila. He's going to grab Vojta Polesny, he's going to grab some food and come back to us in about half an hour. That's absolutely fine. Aha! We do have someone that... Jesper Pedersen has said he's offering an interview. That would be great to have a chat with him. And Vojta Polesny, I'll just send him a message. It would be great to chat to him as well. Let's see. Yes, trying to look at too many messages at the same time. Into the green room when you are ready. Still can't spell. Right, enough chatting. Let's have a look at the race then. Wanamaia still doing what he can in the 264 satellite racing car. I'm gutted. I'm really hoping Manuel Biancalila was able to return, but I do see that he was dropped out of TeamSpeak as well, so that may well be a complete, the end of the number 24. That would be a huge shame. Message. What was the message? Let's see. That's the wrong window. Let's go the correct one. Yeah, 54 is out. Both Musto cars are gone. No, that was such a shame. Manuel Biancalila doing what he could to recover from earlier issues, but alas, the 54 and the 53 are both gone. So that's the third GTE car that has fallen by the wayside. 6 remain. 6 GT3s, 6 GTEs, 4 LMP2s, and all 6 of our UPIs still in the race. Jesper Pedersen is in the green room, but we will have a commercial break before we have a chat to Jesper. So, plenty of action still to go. Fast approaching the halfway stage here in Sebring. Stay with us. Plenty to come.
2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriot, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flicks, Motorvision.tv, Sten Goldman, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the digital snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry. NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.
Welcome back to the GTR 24H EEWC round number 3, 12 hours of Sebring as the sun begins to set. What a great camera shot that is. The clouds moving across the face of the sun, and you can really see the effect of the lights now on the ground. So darkness is looming. And we do have a driver ready to come and have a quick chat with us. Jesper Pedersen, are you here?
I'm here.
Well, your guys are doing rather well up front, aren't they? David Mrocek in the car at the moment. The feeling amongst the team's got to be quite good right now.
Yeah, we are doing a good job right now. We kept the lead in the first stint somehow, even though we are running a setup that's better for the rain. So we are awaiting that. So our top speed was really compromised, and we just had to defend a bit, but now we are back in the lead after a drive-through and stuff like that. So yeah, right now we're just turning laps until the rain arrives, and that's where the real battle starts.
Yeah, the rain has been threatening for quite a while, and we've been commenting several times that it's flirting with us a few times. Are you certain it's going to arrive at any given time, or are you just ready for it for if it does?
We actually thought at first the rain already would have arrived at the end of my stint, but yeah, we put on another set of legs and the rain haven't come yet, so now it's just a waiting game.
Now, something we've always talked about in the commentary box, for Sebring in particular, is how bumpy it is and how hard it is to keep these cars under control. Now, of course, the number 18 Burst eSports Simplexity car has been up the front all race long. The only thing the number 64 did beat you to the pole just, but you very soon dispatched them, and you've led ever since. How hard is it, how challenging is it to keep the car under control here at Sebring?
It was a bit unlucky with the qualifying yesterday. We were definitely quicker, But when you lose connection to the server, then how should you get both? But the track is actually suiting our setup on the Pie. Because we are running more wing than the other guys, then we are sort of safe in turns. For us right now, the car is really on rails. And the only thing we are fighting is more understeer than oversteer, and that's uncommon for this car. So, I think it's good.
Awesome stuff. Now, when will you be back in the car, Jesper?
I'm an old guy, so I'm not going to be back in the car. I already done 3 hours, so that's enough.
That's enough for you two. It's Davor Murchek in the car at the moment. He was certainly one of your qualifiers yesterday. I guess you're just kind of looking to maintain this incredible pace up front. Is it going to be 3 wins from 3? It's probably a little bit too early to say. That's obviously the target. Are you worried at all that the 64 car is going to be coming back at you, or are you just concentrating on your own race? Oh dear, just before you answer that, that's one of the satellite cars that's decided to park it on the inside line. Well, he probably didn't decide to. I suspect he span out there. But are you concerned at all that the Moradness eStars car is going to be coming back at you? They're, of course, your closest competitor. Are you thinking they're going to be anywhere near your pace, or are you not really worried about them at all?
As you can see with the satellite car, anything can happen really quick. So I think we can't really be sure yet. Right now, they had the pace in the dry. They were a bit faster than us because of the rear end. But I think if we can manage the gap and just keep it as it is now, then we can be a bit more safe in the rain, and especially our rear wing will help. If they need to change the rear wing settings in the start rating, which I guess they will, otherwise it's going to be difficult, then they will lose a bit more time in pits doing that. So right now we're just trying to turn the laps and stay safe.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck for the remainder of the race. Thank you very much for your time, Jesper Pedersen.
Thank you.
That's 2 of the Burst eSports drivers we've had a chat with, and I'm very grateful for Jesper Pedersen to give us some time to have a chat. And there we see Davor Murchek just bouncing his way through Sunset Bend. So their car nice and settled. And there is James D'Zuba, who I think was the 164 car that was going for an exploratory route earlier on, but now darkness very, very much descending, and that's really that really does change things up. All your visual references completely change. So where you've been kind of comfortable, I mean, there's a fair amount of muscle memory obviously that goes on, but all your visual references, all those little subconscious clues that you use for braking and turning and what have you, all completely change in the dark. Yeah, these drivers would have done a fair amount of practice in the daylight, but vast majority of it will be in they would have done a fair amount in the darkness, but all of their practice, or vast majority of their practice I should say, will have been in the day. So these little subtle differences will be what makes or breaks any team's performances, I would imagine, as we hit the darkness for the remaining half of this race. This is James D'Zuba in the 164 car, working his way merrily through the traffic. There's the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche. How far that's only a couple of seconds off the back of LMP2 leader Darius Andre. Bearing in mind the LMP2 class, because of the way their pit stop strategies are toing and froing, the lead of that class is changing almost every stint. So whilst at the moment James is only a couple of seconds off the back of LMP2 leader, and there it is, Darius Andre for Dueces, that could change in a matter of 20 minutes. So it's likely to change, I should say. So it's very, very closely fought in the LMP2 class, even though if you were to look just at the gaps, obviously there's a minute gap back to Mohammed Alif in the Sam 9 Ascot, but he was the fastest LMP2 car last time around, and of course he's just pitted. So it's very to and from, very backwards and forwards for the LMP2 class at the moment. There's Darius Andre. It was interesting hearing from Jesper Pedersen that they're not discounting a challenge from the 64 car. I mean, there's over a minute between themselves and Henri Sinik that is in the Moradness eStars car, and Devon Mrocek is unbelievably fast at the moment. The fastest lap of the race is still with the the fastest lap of Burst was 1:45.926. Sorry, that was their last lap. 1:45.453 was Mrocek's fastest. Now, the fastest lap, I think, of the race is in the hands of the 64 team. 1:44.125 is their best. So there's pace in the team, but it comes down to setup difference, as Jesper was saying. The 18 car is very much on rails, very much behaving itself over the bumps. It even looks like they're being absolutely chucked around. But it would seem that they're quite happy with how things are going. Well, they have every reason to be quite happy with how things are going. They're over a minute in the lead. But, as we've seen repeatedly, we've very regularly found cars off into the distance, off into the grass, rather, at various intervals. So we'll see how the race continues as we now descend into darkness. Odd flashing light on the back of the Dueces Motorsport. He's not, Darius and Andre is not just tapping his brakes. That is a flashing light on the back of the car. That's a bit of a strange one. What's going on in GTEs? The 717, Nikolay Bezrukov is in the pits. That's what's going on there. So the 74, Tony Janssen, will take that over. There's the GlamRacing GT3. That's Jef Vannijlen, who took that over a little while ago. From Henri Sinik. Leonardo Werle is still in the CKR car. That's leading the GT3 class by about 53 seconds or so. So, as I say, not an unassailable gap at all. But Jef looks very lonely out there. It doesn't look like there's anyone anywhere near him. He's got quite a nice amount of free air going on there. Glad to have you lovely people along for the ride in chat, or whether you're seeing us live or post-event. You're always very, very welcome here at GTR 24H. Go Volante we see in the chat as well. Azatec, that's Azatec Synthwars by Volante. So that's who that is cheering as well. GlamRacing as well, getting some cheering as well. So yeah, we've seen some DPI laps as well. So just keeping an eye on the chat there. If you have any questions, by all means, fire away. We'll do our best to answer it. So very soon we'll be at the top of yet another hour. So halfway is only 20 minutes away. As Dazuba has got a bit of traffic there. That was a little close. It's true. That would have gotten a little ID. That was the ID Simsport car that nearly got integrated with an MP there. As they are chasing, I think that's the Teleforeningen car. No, that's not Michael. That's Michael Slot now in the Teleforeningen car. It's not him because he's halfway around the lap. Now it's going to be more difficult to visually identify cars now that we are in darkness. There's Darren Mrocek with that's the 404. That's the GlamRacing Audi. And we'll just dance around that one. You get an idea of just the raw pace difference between the DPI and the GT3. Of course, the fastest and slowest categories in this race, or in this series, I should say. Now I'm watching the kind of driver cam. If we can get the, can we get the side-by-side production of with David Mrocek's camera? You can see how much he's having to fight his steering wheel. Even though Jesper Pedersen was saying that their car feels pretty well planted. It certainly doesn't. If you were just to look at David Mrocek's own camera, it looks like he's really hustling the car hard. And there you go. You can actually see in the camera. There we go. You get a great idea of just how much movement there is. There's a fair amount of vibration going on. It's actually shaking his camera. It's truth alive. That's giving you almost a feeling of like a motion rig that Mercedes is using. Where are we at the moment? So, he's got time to reach across, grab a mug. Well, he's on the Ulmann Straight, and there's the prime opportunity to grab a drink. It's the only opportunity that a driver is going to have, actually, to just let the mind untense a little bit. And then straight back on to business. But yeah, I see what Jesper means. You see, as they were coming through Sunset Bend, which is one of the bumpiest parts of the circuit, there wasn't a lot of shaking going on. There's certainly a lot of focus as Darren Mrocek then gets on the inside line of the Gadget Husic car. Nicely done. That is Steven Salsgaard that is driving that one at the moment. So he's focused, but he's relaxed, he's in the groove, he's in the rhythm. As you can quite clearly see, just as I say that, then he fights the car to keep it from going onto the grass. He may well be relaxed and in the groove, but he's still driving that at the absolute limit. But yeah, I see what Jesper is saying. Compared to some other cars, it's not fighting him as hard. But we've seen a lot of sort of soaring of the wheel from certain other drivers who may not be quite at ease with their machinery as the number 18 team seem to be with theirs. That's Mohammed Alif going for a sudden change of direction there as he gets around the CKR and the B32 cars. So that's the first and last in the GT3 cars, actually. Yes, I just realised. So Leonardo Werle, that's still in control of the number 13, the Brazilian blazing McLaren, along with the B32 car. So that's the tail end of the GT3s. But still going pretty well. Ricky Jimenez in the pink accented Aston Martin. That's the MCM Motorsport number 27. Fourth in class. Where are they? They are, well, pretty much on their own as far as on-track position is concerned. They're about 2/3 of a lap-ish behind the DIS Sim Racing Lab Porsche and half a lap, give or take, ahead of Jan Amaya in the Satellite Racing car. There's our race leader. That's Darius Andre, now fourth in the LMP2 class. Strictly speaking, that is last in the LMP2 class, but like we said before, the performance difference top to bottom in the LMP2 is really, really minor. The timings are often quite, not skewed, but they don't always give an impression, as I was saying earlier, on how close that class is, just because of the pit stop strategy difference. It looks like that James Suzuki's got a massive lead, which 54 seconds is a fairly decent lead. That's give or take about half a lap. But one pit stop later, and he's at the back of the class, because they're all operating to a very, very similar kind of lap time pace. So it's great to see that we've got some great consistency and potential battles, particularly towards the end of the race, for our LMP2 class. Dueces doing a pretty good job of just keeping consistent. So we'd lost the 77 car fairly early in the race. It's the only LMP2 victim we've had thus far. There's Gadget Hussein, Steven Salsgaard in control of the treble 7 car. Fifth in class, they're ahead of the 32 McLaren by about a minute, which is 2/3 of a lap, give or take. 20 seconds-ish behind Michael Slot in the Telefor Endingen number 188 BMW. So we could well see a challenge for fourth position later on. Lap time-wise, not a lot of difference, about 2/10 or so. But only 18.5 seconds separates the Corvette to the BMW. So there could well be a challenge for fourth later on. Keep an eye on that one. In our GTEs, who was fastest last time around? Well, by a couple of tenths, it was actually the DIS Sim Racing Man Porsche. That is the treble 7 squad. Karl Liekegaard and Michael Ciccolini, who was in the car earlier on, Steven Salsgaard, Matthias Harvik, and Matt Hedegaard. I believe Hedegaard was one of the qualifiers for that car yesterday. Michael Ciccolini certainly was. Because it took me a few attempts to get his name right. That looked very close from the off-board shot there. I think that was the number 1. It might have been that was the adrenaline car, beg your pardon. It was the number 33 that just came past. And looked quite close from the off-board, but it may not have been the case. That is the DIS Sim Racing Man Porsche. We don't know who's in control of that one, but the drivers that have that one are Andy Kurtzen, Yannick Gotthard, and Mika Lundtoft. Those are the 3 competitors registered to take part in that car, so we don't know who is in that vehicle at the moment. I'm just going to have a look at who is in the car and see if I can get an idea of who is in there, and I don't reckon I'm going to be able to. I'll have a look anyway. No, that didn't yield me anything, because none of them are in the core with us at the moment, but on the go nonetheless. Third in class. Let's have a look at the lap times again. Fastest in class as far as overall laps concerned is the number 74, which is the class leader. They have the fastest class lap of 1:58.032. But I mean, the fastest last lap, of course, can be set by any one of the drivers, and isn't always very indicative, because at the point that we're looking at a car, they may well be quite heavy on fuel, fresh or worn tyres, etc., etc. You'd never know under what circumstances the fastest lap has been set, or even who set it. So it's not a particularly comprehensive way to look at a team's performance. Drone camera. It managed to fly through one of the advertising hoardings. That's a pretty strong... there's another one. That's an indestructible drone camera. James Zuba in the 164 Satellite Racing LMP2 car, still leading the way, about 52 seconds to the grid, but the fastest LMP2 car is, unsurprisingly, Mohamed Alif, who has been really so strong in that car. That's for 79 Axel, the 21 car, about half a lap each behind. That's the Satellite Racing 164 squad. So that is Liam Rance, who we saw in there earlier. Ryan Nash, look forward to seeing him in the car. He's a cracking driver in anything we see him in. Marco Slancy, and of course at the moment it is James Zuba. I love the picture he's used there. It's quite a transformation. Maybe if he stubs his toe, he kind of, like the Hulk, he transforms into the other version of himself. Yeah, who knows? Great drone flying there. They've managed to keep very consistent position to the car. It's great stuff. I love those drone cam pictures you see of, like, you know, endurance racing or drift racing, where you see the drone fly through the smoke. Oh dear, there's a bit of a tap on the tail there on Juan Amaya. That's one of the burst cars that's just gone past. That is, I think it's one of the burst cars. Yes, it's Tom Allmendinger in the 94 eSports Glitter Sunglasses car. It was a tiny tap on the back of the 264 car, so it wouldn't have caused any damage or disrupted the flow particularly. It's just probably a tiny mistake from Tom Allmendinger there. But no harm done. Henri Sinik is in the pits, as is David Mocek, actually. So our first and third DPI cars are in the pits at the moment. So it looks like the 18 and 64 cars are running a very similar pit stop strategy, or at least have opted to come in at the same time at the moment. That's probably going to allow Denis Sashenko to gain a spot for the time being. Josh Purwein is now up into second for 79 Axel. That is Denis Sashenko, number 17 Unison car. His darkness now very much doth descend in Sebring. Magnus Berggren in the... he's in the ID Simsport car with a very errant burst LMP2 car that's wandering around. Where is Tom Allmendinger going? I think that he made a mistake there. He didn't want to just jump back on the track, so it was actually quite wisely done. That is the team for ID Simsport. So Marcus Berggren in the car at the moment, Michael Peterson, we saw earlier on, and Thomas Bredegard. That he was going to be part. Thomas Bredegard was going to be in the Tenor for Endingen, or he was registered for both cars, but there was a change of personnel at some point. At the moment, that's a moot point, because it's Bregan is Marcus Berggren in the car right now.
66,02.
Vojta Polesny, has he reappeared yet? No. I was hoping to catch up with our lead driver. You can see there on the... He's having a chat with his engineer there, or with whoever's spotting for the 166 car.
Så det burde se fint ud. Jeg har været på 3.11 og 3.10 et par gange, og ellers er det 3.07. Ja. That's an indication on fuel. I see. It's certainly not the gap back to Juan Amaya. That's only about 3.5 seconds back to the 264 satellite car. I was trying to figure out what they were referring to. That's fifth in the GTEs. That's the class that suffered the most losses. 3 GTE cars gone in the first half of this race. The ID Simsport car continuing along its merry way. course, they are keeping a keen eye on what's going on. Well, there is their challenger. You just saw in that shot there. The next car right behind them is the Satellite Racing Wanamaya. They are not going to be too keen to lose too much pace. We'll see as the race goes on if they are going to be challenged or not. Let's see what the lap times were last time around. 2:02.6 for Magnus Berggren, 2 minutes 0.3 for Wanamaya. So the Satellite Racing car is starting to get some pace there. You can see his quarry and is really pushing on to close in that gap. 2.5 seconds between the two. Now riding on board with the 264. There is the car he's chasing. You can actually see in the tower on the left-hand side the lap time difference. So that's 2.3 seconds to the good for Wanamaya over Magnus Berggren. So that is at that rate, that's going to take maybe another lap if Magnus doesn't find a few more seconds, unless of course the 166 decides to just mind their own business, which at this stage in the race is still going to be a possibility. Where did 166 start? So the 166 car started in 6th, and the 264 car started 8th. Yeah, Satellite Racing car struggled a bit in qualifying, so that could well be an indication that Magnus Berggren is not just going to let him dance past him. We will see, as half-time is looming in this race. There's another potential battle forming. I'm looking at the timings now, and Tom Wongweninger is in, so I was just thinking there might be a challenge in the LMP2s. Not quite, because the Burst Esports Good Sunglasses car is in. However, 3rd and 4th in the DPIs are getting pretty close. Nella Pastorino now has the Moradness eStars car. There is Denis Zhenko, who's chasing him. Interesting to see, actually, the Unison Racing number 17 really is doing well, because Denis Yashenko we saw backwards and spinning several times in the course of practice and qualifying, but they are really pressing on. And there is Wanamaya, who is now 1.5 seconds behind, again, having taken almost another second out of Marcus Berggren, or out of the gap between himself and Marcus Berggren, I should say. So 2 potential battles forming. There we go, side by side. DPI on the left, GTE on the right. So 3rd for DPI, or the battle for 3rd of DPI, and the battle for 5th. Oh no, Viaducton had trouble. Yep, they've not just parked, they have disconnected. So the number 1 car, their day has just gone from bad to disastrous. Is that our first DPI casualty? What has happened to number 1? Well, they just found themselves on the wall. So yeah, that's a fairly conclusive way to bring their car to a stop. I mean, the wall is there to stop them. Oh dear. Might this be our first DPI casualty? We will see. But as half-time doth arrive here in the darkness of Sebring, it is time for us to head to another break. 6 down, 6 to go. Plenty more action to come here in Sebring. Don't go away.
The 2022 Endurance E-Racing World Championship brought to you in partnership with Viper Gaming by Patriots, Aztec Sim Sports, Global Flix, Motorvision.tv, Stengolm, ESTV, and Film Vault Limited.
Just think about the fun things you do online. Diving into movies you love. Shopping. Enjoying free Wi-Fi with your morning coffee. Wait, who's that guy? Meet the Digital Snooper. It can be your internet service provider peeking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal on a mission to snitch your credit card info, or a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. Uh-oh. But don't worry, NordVPN keeps all these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. The best part? It's just a click. Yep, internet security is that easy.
You can get NordVPN today at a 60% discount by visiting gtr24h.org/VPN. Racing for Green is here to help you carbon neutralize your racing. By planting new trees, Racing for Green offers to make your racing carbon neutral. We already have the calculations, contacts, infrastructure, deals and solutions ready for you to easily buy carbon neutral laps on any racetrack. It doesn't matter if you are a racing fan, team owner, driver, sponsor or partner. Anyone can buy CO2 neutral laps in the Racing for Green webshop and trade CO2 emissions for New Forest. Racing for Green.